At the bottom of our world lies a continent shrouded in silence, a place so hostile, so alien, that for most of human history, we barely believed it existed. Antarctica. A frozen wilderness twice the size of Australia, buried beneath an ice sheet so thick it swallows mountains whole. It is the coldest, driest, and windiest place on Earth. And yet, beneath its icy skin, secrets stir. For decades, scientists suspected Antarctica was nothing more than a lifeless desert. But they were wrong. Radar scans, ice core drilling, and daring expeditions have revealed astonishing discoveries hidden below the surface. Discoveries that challenge everything we thought we knew about our planet's past, its present, and perhaps even its future. What if beneath the ice lies an ancient world untouched for millions of years? What if life has been evolving there in total isolation since the time of the dinosaurs? And what if Antarctica holds clues to the fate of humanity itself? The truth is more astonishing and more unsettling than anyone imagined. Beneath the ice of Antarctica, a hidden world awaits. Antarctica seems like the least hospitable place for discovery. The average temperature at the South Pole is minus 49 degrees Celsius, minus 56 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds scream across the plateau at over 200 miles per hour. In winter, darkness lasts for months, and in summer, the blinding sun reflects endlessly off a horizon of white. On the surface, it looks like nothing could possibly live here. The first explorers to stumble onto Antarctica were met not with discovery, but with terror. Ships were crushed by ice. Expeditions vanished. Those who survived brought back only tales of endless white wastelands. For centuries, Antarctica remained a blank spot on maps, a ghostly silhouette at the edge of human imagination. But as the 20th century unfolded, technology pierced the veil. Airplanes flew reconnaissance over the continent. Satellites mapped its contours. Ground-penetrating radar revealed what no one expected. Beneath the ice lay not barren rock, but lakes, rivers, and entire mountain ranges. Antarctica was not just a frozen desert. It was a world within a world. Then came the first samples. Ice cores pulled from depths of over 3 kilometers. Inside those frozen cylinders were tiny bubbles of ancient air, preserved for hundreds of thousands of years. By analyzing them, scientists could breathe in the atmosphere of Earth's past, reading its climate history like pages in a book. And what they found was staggering. Trapped in the ice were records of extinction events, sudden climate shifts, and atmospheric changes that echoed the patterns we see unfolding today. Antarctica was not silent. It was speaking to us, if only we listened. Yet, Antarctica is a paradox. It contains 90% of Earth's ice and 70% of its fresh water, locked in a sheet over 2 miles thick in places. If that ice melted, sea levels worldwide would rise by over 200 feet, drowning entire cities. Beneath that ice lies a landscape as vast and varied as any on the planet. Mountain ranges taller than the Alps, valleys deeper than the Grand Canyon, and rivers that flow in darkness, unseen by human eyes. It is a continent of deathly silence and of hidden abundance. Among the most shocking discoveries are Antarctica's subglacial lakes, vast bodies of liquid water sealed beneath miles of ice, kept from freezing solid by geothermal heat and crushing pressure. The largest, Lake Vostok, is the size of Lake Ontario. It has been sealed off from the outside world for up to 15 million years. Imagine an ecosystem that has not seen the sun since before humans walked the earth. In its waters, life may have evolved along a path completely different from the rest of the planet. When Russian scientists first drilled into Lake Vostok in 2012, they recovered water samples filled with unusual microbial DNA, unlike anything previously catalogued. Some dismissed the findings as contamination, but others whispered a darker possibility. Life in Lake Vostok might truly be alien to us. If true, then Antarctica may be the closest thing we have to another planet on Earth, a frozen analogue to the icy moons of Jupiter and Saturn, where oceans lie beneath frozen crusts. Studying these hidden lakes could reveal not only Earth's secrets, but the potential for life elsewhere in the universe. The ice itself is a library. Each layer is a page, pressed down over millennia, storing fragments of ancient air, volcanic ash, and even microbes. The oldest ice cores taken so far date back over 800,000 years, long before modern humans existed. In them are traces of massive volcanic eruptions, sudden warming periods, and ancient atmospheres rich in gases that shaped Earth's climate. Some scientists believe deeper cores could reach back millions of years, preserving DNA from long extinct organisms. Imagine resurrecting microbial species that vanished before the first humans took breath. Imagine unlocking genetic codes untouched for epochs. But with discovery comes danger. Viruses frozen in the ice for eons could awaken, posing risks we cannot yet comprehend. Antarctica may be a treasure trove or a Pandora's box. But Antarctica doesn't just preserve the story of Earth's climate. It hides the scars of cataclysm. Radar mapping has revealed circular anomalies beneath the ice that resemble impact craters. One in Wilkes Land is over 300 miles wide. Some scientists speculate it could be the remnant of a massive asteroid strike, perhaps linked to one of Earth's great mass extinctions. If confirmed, it would rival the Chicxulub crater in Mexico, which wiped out the dinosaurs 66 million years ago. The thought is chilling. Antarctica may hold the graves of entire worlds, entombed in silence, waiting to be revealed. Where science leads, myth follows. The Peary raised map, an Ottoman-era chart from the 16th century, has long been cited by fringe theorists as depicting an ice-free Antarctica. Some claim this proves an advanced civilization once mapped the continent before it froze. Others whisper of Nazi bases, ancient pyramids, or even alien structures buried beneath the ice. Most of these stories collapse under scrutiny, and yet the allure persists. Antarctica is one of the last places on Earth where vast regions remain unexplored. Its very isolation invites speculation, and every strange anomaly, every unexplained heat source, every radar echo that defies explanation adds fuel to the fire. But strip away the myths, and the reality is even more astonishing. Beneath Antarctica's ice is a hidden world that challenges our understanding of geology, biology, and climate. What we uncover here doesn't just tell us about the past, it warns us about the future. The ice is melting. Vast glaciers are retreating faster than anyone predicted. The so-called Doomsday Glacier, Thwaites, is destabilizing, threatening to raise sea levels by several feet. What happens in Antarctica will determine the fate of coastal cities around the globe. Our survival may depend on listening to what this frozen continent has to teach us. For now, we stand at the surface, gazing across the white horizon, knowing that beneath lies a labyrinth of mysteries. Subglacial lakes, ancient microbes, hidden mountains, impact craters, lost histories, perhaps even stranger secrets we cannot yet imagine. Antarctica is no longer just a frozen desert. It is a frontier, one that could redefine everything we know about life, death, and the destiny of our world. This is the beginning of our journey. In the chapters ahead, we will descend deeper into the ice, peeling back its secrets one layer at a time. But be warned, the deeper we go, the stranger, darker, and more unsettling the discoveries become. The ice remembers everything, and now it is time we start listening. From space, for centuries, this hidden topography remained a mystery. Early explorers trudged across the surface, dragging sleds and leaving only faint trails on an otherwise blank map. What lay below was unknowable. That changed in the mid-20th century, when scientists began probing the ice with radar. Airplanes equipped with ice-penetrating instruments sent signals deep into the frozen crust, bouncing back echoes from the rock and water below. Later, satellites joined the hunt, mapping gravitational anomalies and subtle shifts in ice elevation. Piece by piece, the white mask began to peel away. What emerged shocked even the scientists themselves. Antarctica was not just a slab of rock under a blanket of ice. It was a world within a world. Antarctica appears as a vast sheet of white, featureless and smooth. To the untrained eye, it looks like the simplest continent on Earth, an endless frozen plateau. But that appearance is a lie. Beneath the miles of ice lies one of the most rugged, dramatic landscapes ever discovered. Mountains that rival the Rockies, valleys deeper than the Grand Canyon, and entire river systems that flow unseen in darkness. Antarctica is not a flat world of snow. It is a continent buried alive. The most astonishing discovery was a hidden mountain range at the very heart of East Antarctica, the Gamburtsev Subglacial Mountains. Buried beneath nearly 3 kilometers of ice, these peaks stretch for over 750 miles, about the length of the Alps. Radar scans revealed jagged peaks, high plateaus, and deep valleys, preserved in ghostly detail beneath the ice. The mountains are so rugged they appear freshly carved, as if glaciers swept across them only yesterday. But their origin is a riddle. Geologists believe they may be over 1 billion years old. How such ancient peaks remain so sharp, protected by ice from wind and erosion, defies expectations. Some scientists call the Gamburtsevs a ghost range, a phantom preserved in frozen time. Their very existence suggests Antarctica's history is stranger than we can currently explain. Were these mountains once part of an ancient supercontinent? Do they hide basins where rivers once flowed freely, carrying life across a lush landscape now entombed? The questions multiply, unanswered, beneath the miles of ice. Mountains are only part of the story. In recent decades, scientists discovered that Antarctica has a network of subglacial rivers and lakes, connected like veins beneath the frozen crust. One of the most striking is a river system stretching over 300 miles, hidden under nearly a mile of ice. Flowing from the interior toward the coast, it carries meltwater generated by geothermal heat and pressure. This river is as large as some of Europe's greatest waterways, yet no sunlight has ever touched it. In West Antarctica, radar mapping uncovered a valley that dwarfs the Grand Canyon. The Bentley Subglacial Trench plunges more than 11,000 feet below sea level, making it the deepest point on land not filled by ocean. This immense scar stretches across the continent, invisible beneath the ice. Scientists believe it may funnel water and ice flow in ways that destabilize entire glaciers. If true, it could be a critical factor in predicting sea level rise. Yet its full extent remains shrouded, difficult to map through miles of ice. Elsewhere, researchers have found smaller valleys and basins that hint at ancient rivers. Some may date back tens of millions of years, when Antarctica was covered in temperate forests and teeming with life. To look at them now, sealed under crushing ice, is to glimpse the bones of a world long dead. Discovery of such rivers is more than a curiosity. They act as lubricants, accelerating the slide of glaciers toward the ocean. They may also connect isolated subglacial lakes, allowing microbial life to spread across Antarctica's hidden aquatic world. Imagine entire ecosystems thriving in darkness, linked by a secret hydrological network larger than many nations. Perhaps the most haunting discoveries are the subglacial lakes. Over 400 have been identified so far, ranging from tiny ponds to inland seas. Some are active, filling and draining in cycles that shift the ice sheet above. Others remain sealed, cut off from the surface for millions of years. The largest, Lake Vostok, lies beneath 2.5 miles of ice and is roughly the size of Lake Ontario. Its waters have been isolated for at least 15 million years, possibly much longer. Conditions within such lakes are extreme. They are pitch black, under crushing pressure, with temperatures below freezing, but liquid due to the weight of the ice and heat from below. And yet, against all odds, signs of life have emerged. Microbes, strange chemical compounds, and unexplained DNA sequences have been detected in samples taken from boreholes. Each new lake studied raises more questions. Are these ecosystems unique? Do they share a common origin? Or have they evolved separately for millions of years? Could they contain organisms with genetic blueprints entirely unknown to science? The more scientists probe, the more Antarctica transforms from a blank wasteland into a labyrinth of hidden geography. The ice itself has become a kind of map, an overlay hiding mountains, rivers, and valleys beneath. Projects like BedMap 2 and BedMap 3, massive compilations of radar and satellite data, have reconstructed the subglacial terrain in 3 dimensions. The images look like something from another planet. Craggy ranges, trench-like valleys, and vast basins of shadow. And yet, these maps are incomplete. Vast areas of the continent remain unmapped or only faintly sketched. The reality is that Antarctica remains more mysterious than the surface of Mars. We know more about the craters of the moon than we do about the rivers flowing beneath our own planet's ice. Each discovery raises unsettling implications. If there are mountains preserved for over 1 billion years, what ancient fossils might lie in their rocks? If rivers flow unseen, how do they shape the stability of the ice above and the oceans beyond? If lakes harbour ecosystems sealed for millions of years, what forms of life might we unleash by probing too deeply? Antarctica is not just a frozen desert. It is a world in waiting, a mirror image of our ignorance and curiosity. Beneath the ice, time itself seems frozen, guarding secrets we may not be ready to confront. We will descend deeper into those secrets. The next part will peel back the ice not just as a landscape, but as a time capsule, a frozen archive of Earth's ancient climate, ecosystems, and perhaps even life forms long vanished from the rest of the world. Antarctica's hidden terrain is only the beginning. Its ice contains whispers from the deep past. And what we find locked inside those frozen layers may determine the fate of our future. Antarctica's ice sheet is more than frozen water. It is a library, a vast archive that stretches nearly 3 miles thick in places, storing the story of Earth in silent layers. Each snowfall compresses, year after year, into firn and then ice, trapping fragments of the world as it once was. Bubbles of atmosphere, volcanic ash, traces of pollen, even living organisms. To the naked eye, it looks like nothing more than solid ice. But to scientists, it is a diary of Earth's deep past, an unbroken record stretching back nearly 1,000,000 years, and perhaps even further. In the mid-20th century, researchers began drilling into Antarctica's ice, bringing up long cylinders called ice cores. Each section revealed a layer of history. The deeper the core, the further back in time it reached. At first, scientists hoped only to study recent climate fluctuations, but as drilling technology improved, cores extended hundreds of thousands of years. Tiny air bubbles inside the ice turned out to be capsules of ancient atmosphere, perfectly preserved. By analyzing them, scientists could measure the levels of carbon dioxide, methane, and other gases that filled the air in ages long before humans appeared. The results were astonishing. Patterns of warming and cooling, sudden spikes in greenhouse gases, and catastrophic events, all locked in ice. With each new core, Antarctica whispered secrets of Earth's forgotten epochs. Imagine holding a fragment of ice that contains the breath of a Neanderthal. Imagine inhaling air last touched by the wings of a pterosaur. In a sense, scientists can do exactly that. By melting ancient ice under controlled conditions, they can release the gases trapped within. The oldest Antarctic cores contain air up to 800,000 years old, allowing us to measure climate conditions with staggering precision. Those gases reveal a sobering truth. Levels of carbon dioxide and methane today are higher than at any point in that record. Humanity has pushed the atmosphere into a state unseen for nearly 1,000,000 years. The ice does not lie. It is a mirror, showing us both where we have been and where we may be headed. The ice preserves more than air. Volcanic eruptions leave behind microscopic shards of ash and chemical fingerprints. By studying them, scientists have reconstructed a history of Earth's most violent eruptions. Some events were so colossal they altered global climate for decades. One layer holds traces of the Toba supereruption, which occurred 74,000 years ago. It may have nearly driven early humans to extinction. Another holds fallout from the eruption of Tambora in 1815, which triggered the infamous year without a summer. But the ice also holds evidence of events no one witnessed. Volcanic winters and chemical anomalies that still puzzle researchers. Antarctica's ice remembers disasters long forgotten, disasters that may one day return. Perhaps the most unsettling discoveries are the living things trapped in the ice. Microbes have been recovered from cores over 500,000 years old, revived after spending eons in suspended animation. Some begin to grow again once thawed, as if they had only been sleeping. Most are harmless, but not all. Viruses have also been detected in the frozen layers, preserved in crystalline prisons. What happens if such pathogens are released into a world they have never known, a world unprepared for their return? In Siberia, thawing permafrost has already revived deadly anthrax spores, killing reindeer and sickening people. Antarctica, with its far older and deeper reserves, may conceal viruses tens of thousands or millions of years old. The ice does not merely preserve life. It may also conceal threats older than humanity itself. Within some cores, fragments of genetic material have been discovered, tiny shards of DNA from plants, animals, and microbes that once lived in Antarctica's forests and seas before ice buried them. These genetic ghosts tell of a world transformed. Fossil DNA suggests that parts of Antarctica were once covered in lush greenery, home to forests and thriving ecosystems. Some fragments may even belong to species we have never catalogued, life erased from the surface, but not from memory. As sequencing technologies advance, scientists may one day reconstruct these ancient genomes in full, resurrecting organisms long extinct. But this pursuit raises haunting questions. Should we bring back life that nature consigned to the past? And if we do, what unforeseen consequences might follow? It is easy to imagine the allure. A microbe preserved for millions of years might hold secrets of biology that transform medicine. A virus frozen since before humans evolved might illuminate the origins of disease. But the risks are immense. Once thawed, ancient organisms do not always remain passive. They can awaken, adapt, and spread. Unlike the microbes of today, they evolved in worlds we can barely imagine. Their interactions with modern ecosystems, or with us, are unknowable. Some scientists warn that the ice may be less a library than a vault, one that should remain sealed. Yet curiosity drives us deeper. The urge to unlock what lies within is irresistible. For decades, researchers have dreamed of drilling even deeper to recover cores older than 1 million years. Such ice could reveal climate records stretching back into epochs when Antarctica was warm, forested, and alive. Several projects are now underway to reach this million-year ice. If successful, we may soon hold in our hands not only air from ancient atmospheres, but traces of ecosystems that flourished before the first glaciers formed. But deeper still may lie ice far older, tens of millions of years, perhaps more. Imagine the secrets entombed there, the rise and fall of entire species, catastrophes erased from history, the DNA of worlds we no longer recognize. The deeper we probe, the clearer the message becomes. Antarctica's ice is not just a record of the past. It is a warning for the future. The cores show how climate can shift abruptly, with catastrophic consequences. They reveal how rising greenhouse gases once plunged Earth into cycles of warming and collapse. They demonstrate that our planet's stability is fragile, balanced on the thinnest of blades. And now, as the ice melts, that warning grows louder. The very archive we rely on is disappearing, erased by the warming it foretold. Unless we act, Antarctica's time capsule may dissolve before it can yield its most vital lessons. For millions of years, Antarctica has been a vault, sealing away history, life, and catastrophe. But the lock is breaking. The ice is thinning. Lakes are stirring, and rivers are flowing once more. What emerges may astonish us. It may terrify us. It may change everything we think we know about life on Earth. The question is no longer whether Antarctica holds ancient secrets. It is whether we are prepared for what happens when those secrets awaken. When we think of life, we imagine sunlight, plants stretching toward the sky, animals hunting in open landscapes, oceans shimmering with light filtering from above. But beneath Antarctica's ice, there is no sun. There is only blackness, crushing pressure, and temperatures far below freezing. And yet, against all odds, life thrives here. It is not life as we know it, lush forests or swarming seas, but a strange, microbial world, a kingdom of survival that bends the rules of biology. These organisms don't rely on sunlight for energy. They feed instead on the chemicals of rock, water, and ice, harnessing energy from minerals and gases. What scientists have uncovered in these subglacial ecosystems is nothing short of astonishing. In 2013, researchers drilled into Lake Whillans, a body of water sealed beneath 2,600 feet of ice. The lake is not large, about 20 square miles, but it had been cut off from the surface for hundreds of thousands of years. When samples were retrieved, the world was stunned. The water teemed with microbial life, over 4,000 different species of bacteria, thriving in darkness, under immense pressure, without a single ray of sunlight. These organisms were not dormant. They were active, metabolizing iron, sulfur, and even methane. Some were feeding on nutrients carried by rivers beneath the ice. Others seemed to be recycling dead organic matter from ancient times, sustaining entire ecosystems from scraps of the past. The discovery proved what many had suspected but never confirmed. Antarctica's subglacial lakes are alive. 6 years later, in 2019, scientists drilled into another hidden body of water, Lake Mercer, lying beneath 4,000 feet of ice. What they found was even stranger. The water was not sterile. It contained microbes, much like Lake Whillans, but it also contained the remains of tiny animals, fragments of crustaceans, the shells of diatoms, even traces of multicellular life. How these remains arrived, there is still a mystery. Some believe they were transported from the ocean long ago, carried inland by advancing ice sheets. Others argue they may represent ecosystems that once thrived when Antarctica was ice-free, preserved in these hidden reservoirs. Either way, the message was clear. Antarctica's buried waters are not just microbial pools. They may also be graveyards of past life, or even refuges where remnants of ancient ecosystems still survive. The organisms in these lakes are known as extremophiles, life forms that thrive in conditions that seem impossible. Some survive at temperatures barely above freezing. Others tolerate high pressures and chemical environments that would kill most species instantly. Their very existence reshapes our understanding of biology. For decades, scientists believed sunlight was the foundation of all ecosystems. Now, Antarctica has revealed a different truth. Life can exist anywhere energy is available, even if that energy comes not from the sun, but from the hidden chemistry of rock and water. This realization has profound implications. If life can survive in Antarctica's sealed lakes, why not in the oceans beneath the ice of Europa, one of Jupiter's moons, or Enceladus, orbiting Saturn? These worlds too are covered in ice, with oceans below that never see sunlight. The microbes of Antarctica may be the closest analogues we have to alien life. The lakes do not exist in isolation. Beneath Antarctica's ice sheet runs a network of rivers, linking lakes across the continent. Water moves slowly, creeping along channels in total darkness, transporting nutrients and microbes from one hidden reservoir to another. This means that life discovered in Lake Whillans or Lake Mercer may not be unique. It may be part of a continent-wide biosphere, a vast microbial network hidden beneath thousands of feet of ice. If true, Antarctica is not a barren wasteland. It is one of the largest, strangest ecosystems on Earth, one we are only beginning to glimpse. Some scientists believe these ecosystems are echoes of a much older world. Tens of millions of years ago, Antarctica was ice-free, covered in forests and surrounded by rich seas. As ice advanced, it may have sealed off pockets of water, trapping organisms that adapted to their new prison. The microbes we find today could be direct descendants of organisms that once lived in sunlit oceans. Over millions of years, they adapted to darkness, learning to live on rock and chemical energy. They are survivors of a world erased by ice. If so, every subglacial lake is not just an ecosystem. It is a time capsule of evolution, a hidden chapter of life's story preserved in isolation. But probing these lakes is not without danger. Each borehole risks contamination. If modern bacteria enter a lake sealed for millions of years, they could overwhelm or destroy fragile ecosystems. Conversely, if ancient microbes are released, they could interact unpredictably with today's world. The Russian drilling of Lake Vostok sparked heated debates. Critics feared that kerosene and other chemicals used to keep boreholes open could poison pristine waters. Others worried about microbes escaping to the surface. Antarctica's hidden ecosystems may be treasures of science, but they are also delicate, and the line between discovery and destruction is razor thin. Despite the risks, the discoveries beneath the ice have transformed astrobiology. The icy moons of the outer solar system are now considered prime candidates for extraterrestrial life, precisely because of what we've learned in Antarctica. NASA missions to Europa and Enceladus are designed with Antarctica in mind, seeking signs of life beneath alien ice shells. The survival strategies of Antarctic microbes, feeding on rock, sulfur, or methane, could be the same strategies used by alien organisms light years away. In this way, Antarctica has become not just a continent of Earth, but a stand-in for other worlds. It is a training ground for searching beyond our planet. When researchers peer down boreholes into Antarctica's subglacial lakes, they describe a haunting sight. Black water beneath blue ice, glowing faintly under artificial lights. It is a cathedral of silence, untouched for millennia, now breached by human curiosity. In those depths, the simplest life forms remind us of life's astonishing resilience. They endure where everything says they should not. They thrive in conditions that mimic alien worlds. And in doing so, they whisper a truth both humbling and profound. Life is not fragile. It is stubborn. It will find a way. But as Antarctica warms, these ecosystems may not remain hidden forever. Ice is thinning. Rivers are shifting. Some lakes are draining and refilling in cycles faster than ever observed. As climate change accelerates, the line between isolation and exposure will blur. When that happens, whatever has lived in darkness for millennia may finally meet the light. What will emerge may expand our understanding of life or remind us of the dangers of awakening worlds long asleep. The subglacial ecosystems of Antarctica have forced us to reconsider the boundaries of biology. They have shown us life where none should exist, thriving in the black heart of the world. But these discoveries are only the beginning. Hundreds of lakes remain unexplored. Countless rivers run unseen. Microbes we have not yet imagined are waiting in silence, sustained by alien chemistries, preparing to tell their story. And so we descend deeper. Beneath the ice lies not just history, but possibility. The more we learn, the closer we come to confronting the most unsettling truth of all. Perhaps life is not rare. Perhaps life is inevitable. By now we know that Antarctica hides mountains, rivers, and even living ecosystems beneath its ice. But not everything revealed by radar and satellite fits neatly into scientific explanation. Some findings defy what we expect from geology or climate. They hint at forces at work beneath the continent that remain stubbornly mysterious. These anomalies range from strange heat signatures to gravitational distortions, from craters that may have changed the course of life on Earth to unexplained features that spark whispers of conspiracy and myth. Some are likely natural, others remain unresolved, but all of them remind us that Antarctica is a continent of shadows, where the line between knowledge and speculation blurs. In 2006, NASA satellites mapping Earth's gravity field detected something strange beneath East Antarctica's ice. A massive circular anomaly, over 300 miles wide, hidden in the region known as Wilkes Land. The data suggested a dense mass buried beneath the ice, exerting a stronger gravitational pull than its surroundings. Some scientists proposed it was the remnant of a gigantic asteroid impact, one far larger than the Chicxulub crater in Mexico, which ended the age of the dinosaurs. If true, the Wilkes Land structure could date back 250 million years, linked to the Permian-Triassic extinction event, the greatest die-off in Earth's history, when 90% of species vanished. The thought is chilling. Antarctica may not just hold climate records and microbial secrets. It may conceal the scar of the most catastrophic event life has ever endured. Another puzzle lies under West Antarctica, where scientists have detected unexpected heat sources. Using radar and magnetic surveys, researchers found regions where ice melts from below far faster than expected, creating subglacial lakes and streams. Some of this heat comes from known sources: geothermal vents, volcanic activity, and Earth's natural radioactive decay. But certain hotspots are harder to explain. One area beneath the Thwaites Glacier, the so-called Doomsday Glacier, shows anomalous melting at a scale far beyond geothermal predictions. Some suggest hidden volcanic systems. Others hint at deep Earth processes we don't yet understand. Whatever the cause, these heat sources destabilize the ice above, hastening the flow of glaciers into the sea. They are both mystery and menace, unexplained forces that may reshape our future coastlines. In 1965, an aerial survey over East Antarctica detected a strange magnetic disturbance beneath the ice. The anomaly, located in the Wilkes Land region, has been debated for decades. Some geologists believe it represents the remnants of a massive impact crater. Others argue it could be a concentration of unusual rocks, or the frozen scars of ancient tectonic shifts. But the sheer scale of the anomaly, covering hundreds of miles, has fueled speculation far beyond geology. Fringe theorists point to buried structures, lost civilizations, or even remnants of alien technology. While mainstream science finds no evidence for such claims, the fact remains: the Wilkes Land anomaly is not fully explained. And in the silence of Antarctica, unanswered questions echo louder. Antarctica may seem frozen and inert, but beneath its ice lies a fiery underworld. Recent surveys have revealed over 100 volcanoes buried under the ice sheet, some as tall as the Eiger in the Swiss Alps. Most are dormant. Some may still be active. In fact, seismic studies suggest volcanic activity continues beneath the West Antarctic rift, releasing heat that fuels subglacial melting. If one of these volcanoes erupted beneath the ice, the consequences would be dramatic. Meltwater could lubricate glaciers, sending vast ice masses hurtling into the sea. Ash and gases could alter global climate. In a worst-case scenario, a hidden eruption could accelerate Antarctic collapse, triggering sea level rise on a catastrophic scale. The question is not whether Antarctica's volcanoes exist. We know they do. The question is when they will awaken. Not all anomalies are natural. In recent years, radar surveys have revealed geometric shapes beneath the ice, formations that appear oddly regular. Some resemble pyramids. Others look like symmetrical ridges or domes. Most geologists dismiss these as natural peaks, shaped by erosion and preserved by ice. But their uncanny symmetry has fueled endless speculation. Internet forums buzz with theories of ancient civilizations, secret bases, or alien constructs hidden beneath Antarctica. Science offers no evidence to support such claims, yet the allure remains. In a land so vast, so unexplored, the possibility of something extraordinary hiding beneath the ice is difficult to dismiss entirely. Even the subglacial lakes themselves hold mysteries beyond life. Lake Vostok, the largest of them all, lies beneath 2.5 miles of ice and has been sealed for at least 15 million years. When Russian scientists first drilled into it, they found unusual chemical signatures, high levels of nitrogen and oxygen, strange mineral deposits, and microbial DNA that did not match known species. Some argued contamination. Others whispered darker possibilities, an ecosystem truly alien, or evidence of processes we do not yet understand. Lake Vostok remains largely unexplored. Its vast waters could hold not only microbes, but entire unknown ecologies. Until we probe deeper, it remains one of Antarctica's greatest enigmas, a black ocean beneath the white desert. Every anomaly, every unexplained feature beneath the ice fuels a deeper sense of unease. We expect to find mountains, valleys, rivers. But when we find heat sources that defy models, craters that may have ended worlds, or magnetic disturbances that resist explanation, we are forced to confront how little we know. Antarctica is not just a continent. It is a mirror, reflecting our ignorance back at us. Why does Antarctica inspire such fascination? Partly because it is so inaccessible, so untouched. It is one of the last places where vast regions remain unmapped. Every anomaly feels like a secret withheld, a puzzle half revealed. But perhaps there is another reason. Antarctica is the only continent devoted entirely to science, protected by treaty, shrouded in silence. Its very inaccessibility breeds myth. When faced with anomalies we cannot fully explain, imagination rushes in to fill the void. Yet even stripped of myth, the anomalies are real. Gravitational scars, volcanic heat, unexplained structures. Each is a piece of a puzzle we have only begun to assemble. As the ice melts, some of these anomalies will not remain hidden. Impact craters may be exposed, rivers may burst forth, subglacial volcanoes may awaken, and whatever secrets the anomalies conceal will be thrust into the light. The question is not whether Antarctica holds mysteries. It is whether we are ready to face what lies beneath. Few places on Earth have inspired as much myth as Antarctica. Its vastness, its silence, its refusal to reveal its secrets, all of it invites the human mind to fill the void with stories. Some are rooted in history, others in fear, and still others in dreams of civilizations lost to time. When science cannot yet answer, myth steps in. And Antarctica, more than any other continent, has become a stage where myth and mystery collide. In 1929, scholars in Istanbul discovered a fragment of a 16th century world map drawn by the Ottoman admiral Piri Reis. To their astonishment, part of the map seemed to depict the coastline of Antarctica, 3 centuries before the continent was officially discovered. Even stranger, some claimed it showed Antarctica not covered in ice, but ice-free, with rivers and mountains visible. Mainstream historians argue the map is simply a composite of earlier charts, blending known coastlines with speculation. But alternative theorists suggest otherwise. Could the map be evidence of an ancient civilization that once knew Antarctica before it froze? If so, who were they? And how could they have mapped a continent buried under miles of ice for millions of years? For centuries, storytellers have sought the location of Atlantis, the legendary civilization said by Plato to have vanished beneath the waves. Some point to the Mediterranean, others to the Caribbean, but a few have looked south to Antarctica. The theory, popularized in the 20th century, claims that Antarctica was once further north, part of a warm, temperate zone. According to this view, an advanced civilization flourished there before a sudden shift in Earth's crust hurled the continent into its current polar position, burying it beneath ice. Though geologists find little evidence for such a dramatic shift, the theory refuses to die. It offers a tantalizing vision, a lost world entombed beneath the ice, its ruins still waiting to be uncovered. In recent years, satellite images of Antarctica have sparked new waves of speculation. Some photos show mountains with strikingly symmetrical shapes, resembling pyramids. Internet forums erupted with claims that these were not natural peaks, but artificial structures, evidence of an ancient civilization that once ruled the frozen continent. Scientists counter that such symmetry is common in geology. Erosion and glaciation can carve natural pyramidal peaks, known as nunataks, which protrude through the ice. And yet, the images linger. To the human eye, symmetry suggests design. And in a land so unexplored, the idea of ancient architects building monuments beneath the polar sun is irresistible. No discussion of Antarctic myths is complete without the tales of Nazi exploration. In the late 1930s, Germany launched an expedition to claim territory in Queen Maud Land, marking it with swastikas and naming it Neuschwabenland. After World War II, rumours spread that the Nazis had built secret bases beneath the ice, developing advanced technology or hiding away after the fall of Berlin. Some fringe theories even claimed UFOs were linked to these supposed Antarctic fortresses. Operation High Jump, a massive US Navy expedition to Antarctica in 1946 to 47, only fueled speculation. Officially, the mission was for training and research. Unofficially, conspiracy theorists suggested it was a military strike against Nazi remnants, or something even stranger. In reality, no evidence of hidden Nazi bases has ever been found. Yet the myth persists, fed by Antarctica's isolation and the public's hunger for mystery. Among the most bizarre Antarctic myths is the hollow earth theory. Some believers claim there are vast entrances at the poles leading to a subterranean world inhabited by advanced beings. Antarctica, they argue, guards one of these gateways. No scientific evidence supports such claims, but the appeal is obvious. Antarctica is so alien, so remote, that it seems like the perfect place to hide an entire other world. In myth, the ice is not just a barrier, but a veil, concealing dimensions of reality we are not meant to see. What is it about Antarctica that inspires such enduring legends? Part of it is simple ignorance. Vast regions remain unmapped. Few humans ever set foot beyond the coasts. Satellite images are often distorted or incomplete, leaving gaps that the imagination rushes to fill. But there is also something deeper. Antarctica is a blank canvas, an entire continent hidden from view. When we gaze at it, we see not what is there, but what we fear, what we dream, what we long to believe. It is a mirror, reflecting humanity's hunger for the unknown. Most of these stories, Atlantis, pyramids, Nazi bases, collapse under the weight of evidence. And yet, the underlying truth remains. Antarctica does conceal astonishing secrets. Subglacial lakes, ancient DNA, impact craters that may have rewritten the history of life. Perhaps the myths are not entirely wrong, not in detail, but in spirit. They recognize that Antarctica is not what it seems, that beneath the ice lies something hidden, something vast, something that may yet rewrite our place in the world. In the end, myths about Antarctica tell us more about ourselves than about the ice. They reveal our fear of extinction, our hope for lost wisdom, our suspicion that history is incomplete. Science strips away some of the mystery, but not all. And as long as Antarctica remains veiled in ice, the stories will continue. For the line between myth and reality here is thinner than anywhere else on Earth. As the ice melts and technology advances, the day may come when some myths are put to rest. Perhaps we will find no pyramids, no Atlantis, no hidden bases. But what we do find may be stranger still. organisms older than humanity, ecosystems untouched for millions of years, scars of cataclysms that nearly ended life itself. Antarctica does not need myth to be astonishing. Its reality is enough to terrify, inspire, and humble us. For millions of years, Antarctica has been a frozen vault, sealing away secrets of the past. But the vault is no longer secure. The lock is breaking. The ice is melting. At first glance, the change seems subtle. Fractures spreading across glaciers, shelves thinning at their edges. But beneath the surface, immense forces are building. Antarctica, once thought stable and eternal, is beginning to stir, and as it does, the entire world trembles. No symbol of Antarctica's instability is more terrifying than the Thwaites Glacier. Located in West Antarctica, Thwaites is roughly the size of Florida. It has been dubbed the Doomsday Glacier because of what will happen if it collapses. Thwaites alone holds enough ice to raise global sea levels by 2 feet. But its position makes it even more dangerous. Thwaites acts as a buttress, holding back the larger West Antarctic ice sheet. If it falls, neighbouring glaciers will follow, unleashing a chain reaction that could raise sea levels by 10 feet or more. Already, satellite data shows Thwaites retreating faster than predicted. Warm ocean currents are undermining it from below, melting it from the inside out. Scientists warn that a full collapse may happen within centuries, or even decades. When it does, the coastlines of our world will change forever. Across Antarctica, ice shelves, the floating extensions of the glaciers, are fracturing. These shelves act as barriers, slowing the flow of ice from land into sea. But warming air and ocean temperatures are weakening them. The Larsen B ice shelf, once larger than Rhode Island, collapsed in 2002. In 2017, a trillion-ton iceberg broke free from the Larsen C ice shelf, drifting into the Southern Ocean. Now, the Larsen D shelf shows signs of stress. Each collapse accelerates glacier flow, pushing more ice into the ocean. The process is slow in human time, but relentless in geologic terms. Antarctica is bleeding ice into the sea, drop by drop, ton by ton. What happens in Antarctica does not stay in Antarctica. Every meltwater drop that flows into the ocean raises sea levels. Already, global seas have risen about 8 inches since 1900. That may seem small, but for millions living along coastlines, it is devastating. Higher seas mean stronger storm surges, more frequent flooding, and saltwater intrusion into freshwater supplies. Cities like Miami, Jakarta, and Shanghai are already struggling. Entire island nations face the threat of erasure, and this is only the beginning. If Antarctica's great ice sheets destabilize, sea levels could rise, not inches, but feet. By the end of this century, The oceans may swallow coastlines that have stood for millennia. Antarctica's ice does not melt quietly. It sets off feedback loops, cycles that accelerate change. When white ice disappears, it exposes darker rock or ocean beneath, which absorbs more heat. As glaciers thin, they lift off the seabed, floating more easily and retreating faster. When ice shelves break, glaciers surge forward at unstoppable speeds. Each change amplifies the next, like dominoes falling across the frozen continent. Once the process begins, stopping it becomes nearly impossible. The ice cores of Antarctica remind us this is not the first time the continent has changed. Millions of years ago, Antarctica was warm, covered in forests and thriving with life. It froze only after atmospheric shifts and continental drift plunged it into polar darkness. The lesson is clear. Antarctica is not immutable. It has changed before. It will change again. But this time, the driver is us. Human industry, pumping billions of tons of greenhouse gases into the sky, has awakened the ice. The cores show that today's carbon dioxide levels are unprecedented in nearly 1 million years. The past warns us, rapid warming leads to chaos, and we are living in the beginning of that chaos now. It is tempting to think of Antarctica as remote, disconnected from daily life. But its ice is tied to every human being on Earth. When glaciers melt, cities flood. When sea ice disappears, weather patterns shift. The collapse of Antarctica's ice sheet would not be a distant tragedy. It would be the defining disaster of human history. Consider the numbers. A 2-foot rise in sea level could displace 200 million people. A 6-foot rise could drown entire nations. A full collapse of the West Antarctic ice sheet, possible over centuries, would redraw the world map, erasing coastlines and reshaping continents. The human cost would be staggering. Mass migration, famine, conflict, and economic collapse. And all of it triggered by the melting of a continent most people will never see. Scientists race to study Antarctica before it changes beyond recognition. Satellites track glacier movements. Robots probe beneath ice shelves. International teams drill cores and measure melt rates. But time is running out. Every year brings new fractures, new collapses, new warning signs. The ice is not waiting for us. It is moving now, faster than ever recorded. The question is not whether Antarctica will change. It is how much and how quickly. And yet, there is hope. Antarctica is also a place of cooperation, protected by the Antarctic Treaty of 1959. Dozens of nations work together there, united by science and a shared recognition of its importance. If Antarctica teaches us anything, it is that humanity's fate is shared. The ice does not care about borders. The rising seas will not stop at national lines. We are all connected by the frozen south. The choice remains ours. If we act, reducing emissions, protecting coastlines, investing in adaptation, we may still slow the collapse. If we fail, the ice will decide our future for us. The Antarctica of tomorrow will not look like the Antarctica of today. Glaciers will retreat, ice shelves will collapse, seas will rise. The only question is how much we will lose. Perhaps centuries from now, humans will walk where ice once towered, gazing at mountains long hidden. Perhaps ships will sail across seas that today lie frozen. Perhaps cities will drown, and new civilizations will rise inland, shaped by the memory of a world transformed. But whatever comes, Antarctica will remain the pivot point of our destiny, the place where humanity's future was decided, silently beneath the ice. When scientists peer beneath Antarctica's ice, they are not just studying Earth. They are glimpsing other worlds. The frozen continent is the closest analogue we have to the icy moons of Jupiter and Saturn, where oceans lie hidden beneath crusts of ice. In the microbial life of subglacial lakes, in the chemical reactions that fuel ecosystems without sunlight, we see the same processes that may operate on Europa or Enceladus. Antarctica, remote though it is, may be our most important training ground for exploring the cosmos. But Antarctica's cosmic significance does not stop there. It is also a landing ground for meteorites, a vault of alien materials, and perhaps even a key to the origins of life itself. Antarctica is the greatest meteorite collector on Earth. Each year, winds sweep snow and ice across the plateau, carrying meteorites to natural collection points. Dark rocks stand out starkly against the white, making them easier to find than anywhere else on the planet. Since the 1970s, thousands of meteorites have been recovered, some older than Earth itself. Among them are fragments of Mars and the Moon, ejected by ancient impacts and carried across space. One meteorite, Allen Hills 84001, discovered in 1984, contains structures some interpret as fossilized Martian microbes. The claim remains controversial, but the possibility lingers. Antarctica may hold proof that life once existed beyond Earth. Each meteorite is a messenger from the cosmos, preserved in Antarctica's deep freeze. They are fragments of distant worlds, fallen onto the most isolated place on our own. The presence of extraterrestrial material in Antarctica raises a profound question. Could life itself have begun this way? The theory of panspermia suggests that life, or at least its building blocks, may have been delivered to Earth by meteorites. Antarctica, by preserving these cosmic fragments, offers a unique laboratory for testing that idea. In some meteorites, scientists have discovered amino acids, the building blocks of proteins. Others contain complex organic compounds, precursors to DNA. If such molecules arrived on the early Earth, they may have seeded the chemistry that blossomed into life. The frozen continent, then, is not just a witness to Earth's history, it is a record of the cosmos itself, holding clues to the possibility that life is not unique, but universal. The ecosystems beneath Antarctica's ice are not just scientific curiosities. They are analogues, living test cases for life in environments beyond Earth. Microbes in Lake Whillans, feeding on sulfur and iron, mirror what might exist beneath Europa's crust. Organisms in Lake Mercer, surviving without sunlight for millennia, resemble what we expect on Enceladus, whose geysers spray water into space. Even the chemical gradients beneath Antarctica, hydrogen, methane, minerals, are strikingly similar to what probes detect on icy moons. By studying these microbes here, we prepare to recognize their cousins elsewhere. In this sense, Antarctica is not just part of Earth. It is part of the solar system's grand experiment in life. But Antarctica also holds evidence of destruction from the cosmos. The Wilkes Land anomaly may be the scar of an ancient asteroid impact, perhaps linked to the Permian Triassic extinction. Meteorites embedded in the ice tell of collisions across time, from the birth of the solar system to recent centuries. Some scientists argue that Antarctica itself may have been shaped by repeated cosmic strikes. Each left its mark. Craters buried beneath ice, debris locked in frozen layers. If true, Antarctica is not just a refuge of life, but a graveyard of catastrophes. It reminds us that life's story is fragile, written not only by biology, but by the violence of the stars. There is another way Antarctica connects to the cosmos, through its ice. Ice cores do more than preserve Earth's atmosphere. They also trap dust from space, microscopic fragments of comets, meteorites, and interstellar material. By analyzing these particles, scientists can reconstruct the history of cosmic events. Supernovae, for instance, leave behind traces of radioactive isotopes. Such isotopes have been found in Antarctic snow, hinting at explosions that occurred millions of years ago. Antarctica, in this sense, is a cosmic time machine, storing the fingerprints of events far beyond Earth. Each particle is a whisper from the stars, preserved in the silence of the ice. In recent years, NASA and other space agencies have used Antarctica as a stand-in for Mars. Harsh deserts like the McMurdo dry valleys, where ice rarely melts and life survives at the edge of possibility, are testbeds for rovers and instruments. If microbes can survive in the dry valleys, they could survive on Mars. If we can drill into Antarctica's subglacial lakes, we may one day drill into Martian ice. The continent becomes not just a research site, but a rehearsal, a stage where humanity prepares for its leap into the cosmos. The deeper we probe Antarctica, the more it mirrors the universe around us. Hidden oceans, alien chemistries, cosmic debris, extinction scars, all are written into its frozen heart. It teaches us that life is stubborn, that destruction is sudden, and that survival depends on adaptation. These are not just lessons for Earth. They are lessons for any world where life may emerge. Antarctica whispers to us, if life can exist here, it can exist anywhere. There is a philosophical dimension to these discoveries. When we hold a meteorite from Antarctica, we hold a fragment of another world. When we study microbes in its lakes, we glimpse possible futures for life beyond Earth. In this way, Antarctica collapses the distance between the local and the cosmic. It reminds us that we are part of a larger story, a universe that is alive, violent, and interconnected. Perhaps life did not begin here at all. Perhaps we are all children of the stars, carried by icy messengers that fell onto a young Earth, preserved in places like Antarctica for us to rediscover. Antarctica is not the end of exploration. It is the beginning. By studying its anomalies, its microbes, its meteorites, we prepare to search beyond our world. One day, humans may drill into the oceans of Europa, walk the ice plains of Enceladus, or uncover fossils on Mars. When we do, the lessons of Antarctica will guide us. The frozen south is our rehearsal for the cosmos. And perhaps, when we finally find life beyond Earth, we will realize that the first clues were here all along, buried beneath the ice at the bottom of our own world.